The moment of decision. Have you ever stood at a crossroads, knowing deep down that one path leads to growth and success, while the other offers comfort but stagnation? Every single day, we face these moments of decision, and in those moments, our choices define who we become. The ability to push ourselves into action despite fear, doubt, and procrastination is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Too many people wait for motivation to strike before they act. They wait until they feel ready. But here's the truth. Motivation follows action. The most successful people don't wait to feel inspired. They act, and inspiration follows. They understand that discipline beats motivation every time. So today, let's embark on a journey together, a journey of transformation. We're going to explore what it truly means to force yourself into action, overcome procrastination, and develop the kind of self-discipline that leads to a lifetime of success. If you've ever struggled with pushing yourself, this is the message you need to hear. The silent killer of success, procrastination. Let's be honest, how many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? It feels harmless, right? But tomorrow turns into next week, next month, and before you know it, years have passed. Procrastination is the thief of success. It doesn't steal all at once, it takes a little bit every day until there's nothing left but regret. The problem with procrastination is that it disguises itself as a harmless habit. It whispers comforting lies like, "You have plenty of time," or "You'll be more prepared later." But the harsh reality is that waiting often turns into wasting, and the longer you delay, the harder it becomes to start. The psychology of procrastination. At its core, procrastination is not a time management issue, it's an emotional regulation problem. We procrastinate to avoid discomfort, fear, or uncertainty. But avoiding discomfort doesn't make it disappear, it only makes it worse. Studies show that people who frequently procrastinate experience increased stress, lower self-esteem, and even health issues over time. Procrastination isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a self-destructive habit that chips away at your potential. Example story, the tale of two entrepreneurs. Imagine two friends, Jake and Ryan. Both have dreams of starting their own businesses. Jake takes action immediately, even though he feels unprepared. He reads books, makes mistakes, and learns along the way. Ryan, on the other hand, keeps waiting for the perfect time. He takes more courses, researches endlessly, but never actually starts. 5 years later, Jake owns a thriving business. He has clients, revenue, and experience. Ryan, however, is still planning. The difference? Action. Jake understood that starting messy is better than not starting at all. The key takeaway? Success favors the doers, not the dreamers. Breaking free from procrastination. Practical strategies. If you recognize yourself in Ryan's story, don't worry, you can break free from procrastination starting today. Here's how. The 5-second rule, developed by Mel Robbins. This technique suggests counting backward from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then immediately taking action. This interrupts hesitation and forces your brain into motion. Set micro goals. Instead of saying, "I'll start a business," say, "I'll research 3 potential business ideas today." Small steps remove the fear of starting. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. If it's longer, break it into small, 2-minute chunks to make it less intimidating. Embrace imperfection. Perfectionism fuels procrastination. Accept that your first attempt may not be great, but you can refine it as you go. Public accountability. Tell a friend or mentor about your goal. When someone else expects you to follow through, you're more likely to take action. Create a do-it-now mindset. Train yourself to act as soon as an idea or task arises. The more you practice immediate action, the less you'll fall into the procrastination trap. Self-discipline, the foundation of greatness. Self-discipline is like a muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. But just like physical exercise, it can be uncomfortable at first. Your mind will resist. It will come up with excuses. But discipline isn't about feelings. It's about commitment. The more you train yourself to act despite discomfort, the stronger your discipline becomes. Why self-discipline matters. Every successful person, whether an athlete, entrepreneur, or artist, owes their achievements to one key trait: consistent discipline. Talent alone is not enough. Hard work alone is not enough. The ability to show up every day, especially when you don't feel like it, is what truly separates the great from the mediocre. The 1% rule. Small steps, massive results. Imagine improving just 1% every day. It sounds insignificant, but over a year, that small improvement leads to a 3,800% transformation. Success doesn't happen in one giant leap, it happens in small, consistent steps. Consider this. Reading just 10 pages of a book daily equals 12 plus books read in a year. Exercising for 15 minutes every day equals noticeable physical transformation over time. Saving $5 a day equals nearly $2,000 saved annually. These tiny improvements compound over time, leading to extraordinary results. The battle between feelings and commitment. The biggest enemy of self-discipline is the excuse-driven mind. It tells you, "I'll do it later. I don't feel like it today. I need to be in the right mood." But discipline doesn't care about feelings. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Example story: the marathon runner. Meet Alex, an aspiring runner. He dreams of completing a marathon, but struggles with motivation. At first, running even a mile feels impossible. His body aches and his mind screams for him to quit. But instead of listening to his emotions, Alex follows a simple rule: run every day, no matter what. Some days he runs 5 miles, other days just 1, but he never skips. A year later, Alex crosses the marathon finish line, not because he was the fastest or most talented runner, but because he was the most disciplined. Practical strategies to build self-discipline. The no matter what rule: set a non-negotiable daily task, for example, writing 500 words, working out for 20 minutes, and commit to it, no matter what. Delayed gratification: train your brain to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term comfort. Example: skip the junk food now to enjoy a healthy, fit body later. Use accountability: have a friend or coach hold you responsible for your goals. Track your progress: keep a journal or app to monitor your habits. Progress, even small, fuels motivation. Eliminate distractions: create an environment that supports discipline. Turn off notifications. Set time blocks for deep work, etc. Visualize the end result: picture yourself achieving your goal. This mental image strengthens your resolve to push through challenges. Start small, but be consistent. Discipline isn't about doing big things occasionally. It's about doing small things daily. Final thoughts. The power of self-discipline. Imagine waking up a year from now, having fully embraced self-discipline. What would your life look like? What goals would you have accomplished? The future version of you is waiting. You have 2 choices: continue as you are, letting procrastination and fear hold you back. Take control, force yourself to take action, and build the life you truly desire. Remember, it's not just about reaching a goal, it's about who you become in the process. So go forward, take action, and make your dreams a reality. The world is waiting for your greatness. Now, what's your next move? Fear. The hidden enemy. Fear is often a powerful force that holds us back from pursuing our goals and dreams. It manifests in different forms: the fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, and even the fear of success. The biggest issue with fear is that it's often unfounded. It's a mental construct, a story we tell ourselves about what might happen, usually the worst-case scenario. But here's the truth. Fear is not the enemy. It's the signal that you are on the verge of growth. Fear is a liar. When we give in to fear, we make it our reality. It clouds our judgment and stops us from taking action. However, when we push through the discomfort and move forward anyway, we discover that fear rarely holds the power we thought it had. In fact, fear is often the signal that we're stepping out of our comfort zone, which is exactly where growth occurs. Fear tricks us into thinking that the worst possible outcome will come to pass. In reality, the consequences are rarely as disastrous as our minds lead us to believe. The fear of failure, for example, can make us avoid taking risks, but it's through failure that we often learn the most valuable lessons. Growth happens when you lean into fear. Growth is not found in avoiding discomfort, but in leaning into it. Each time you face your fears, you build resilience, and your confidence grows. You don't need to rid yourself of fear. You need to learn how to act in spite of it. Fear can be an uncomfortable companion on the path to success, but it's also an indicator that you're moving in the right direction. Rather than letting fear paralyze you and guide you, if something feels intimidating, it likely means it's an opportunity for growth. Whether it's speaking in public, starting a new project, or pursuing a new career, the fear that arises indicates that you're stepping into new territory, and that's where all the magic happens. Example story: Sarah's journey with fear. Sarah, an introvert, was always terrified of public speaking. The idea of standing in front of an audience, her heart racing and her voice trembling, made her feel nauseous. For years, she avoided any situation that required her to speak in front of others. But one day, Sarah realized that this fear was keeping her from achieving her full potential. Determined to overcome her fear, she started small. She agreed to speak at a few informal gatherings and small group meetings. Her first speech was shaky and awkward, but she kept going, gradually increasing her speaking engagements. Each time she faced her fear, she grew more comfortable, more confident. The terror didn't vanish overnight, but she learned to take action despite it. 5 years later, Sarah found herself delivering keynote speeches to large audiences. She had gone from being a terrified speaker to a confident one, inspiring others with her story. Fear was no longer an obstacle, it was just part of the process. She learned that her growth didn't come from avoiding fear, but from pushing through it, embracing fear as a tool for growth. The key takeaway here is that fear is not something to be defeated, but something to be understood and used to your advantage. Every time you face your fears, you become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of achieving your goals. Instead of avoiding situations that make you afraid, step into them. Embrace the discomfort, because on the other side of fear is where real growth happens. So, the next time fear shows up, remember, it's not the enemy, it's your greatest ally, showing you where growth lies, pushing you to become the person you are capable of being. The power of tiny habits. Success is not about big, dramatic actions. It's about tiny, seemingly insignificant habits repeated daily. The difference between people who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't talent, it's consistency. Actionable tips. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Use that time to work on your goals. Set a daily non-negotiable habit. Whether it's reading 10 pages of a book, exercising, or networking, make it a ritual. Eliminate distractions. Your environment shapes your behavior. If your phone keeps pulling you away from productive work, put it in another room. Accountability, the missing link. When it comes to achieving our goals, many of us struggle with staying on track. We set lofty aspirations, but without a clear system in place, we often fall victim to procrastination, distractions, and the temptation of taking the easy route. The secret to overcoming this inertia and actually following through on our commitments? Accountability. Accountability is the bridge between intention and action. It's the external force that pushes us to stay committed to the promises we make to ourselves, even when motivation wanes. It's easy to let ourselves off the hook when there's no one else to answer to. However, when we involve someone else in our goals, whether it's a mentor, a coach, or even a friend, we increase our chances of success dramatically. Why accountability works? Research supports the idea that accountability significantly increases our likelihood of achieving our goals. In fact, studies show that when we share our goals with someone else, we are 65% more likely to achieve them. Why? Because it introduces an element of responsibility and social pressure that makes us less likely to back out. Knowing someone is tracking our progress, checking in on us, or simply rooting for us can make the difference between success and failure. When we are left to our own devices, we often choose the path of least resistance. Its natural life can get busy, and staying disciplined requires effort. But when we have someone to answer to, we feel a sense of obligation to honor our commitments, which creates a sense of urgency and reinforces our actions. The power of sharing your goals. Accountability is not just about someone monitoring you. It's about having a partnership that fosters trust, encouragement, and a shared sense of purpose. When you make your goals known to someone else, you also create a system of support. That person can provide guidance when you hit roadblocks, help you stay motivated during setbacks, and celebrate your wins along the way. It's this partnership that can often be the missing ingredient in achieving your dreams. Additionally, sharing your goals helps to clarify your focus and refine your strategy. When you have to explain your plans to someone else, it forces you to articulate your objectives more clearly and think through the process. This reflection can often help you identify potential obstacles before they arise, giving you a clearer path forward. Example story: Mark's journey to completing his book. Mark had a dream of writing a book. He had been carrying this dream with him for years, but every time he sat down to write, he found himself procrastinating. He'd write a few pages, then get distracted or overwhelmed. Months would go by, and he had barely made a dent in his manuscript. The problem wasn't his ability to write, it was his inability to stay accountable to himself. After struggling with his lack of progress, Mark realized that if he wanted to get his book done, he needed external accountability. So, he reached out to an old friend, Rachel, who had experience with writing and publishing. They agreed to meet once a week, where Mark would share the progress he had made and set new goals for the upcoming week. At first, it wasn't easy. Mark didn't always meet his weekly goals, and he had to confront his excuses and distractions. But Rachel was there, gently pushing him forward, reminding him of why he started, and celebrating his small victories. With Rachel's support, Mark started to develop a rhythm. Each week, he wrote more, edited his work, and gained clarity on his story. 6 months later, Mark had finished the book he had been talking about writing for 3 years. His weekly check-ins with Rachel had created the consistency he needed. With someone else holding him accountable, he could no longer hide behind excuses or delay his progress. The result? A completed manuscript and a new sense of accomplishment. The accountability process. 1. Choose the right accountability partner. Select someone you trust, someone who is invested in your success and will challenge you to stay on track. It could be a friend, family member, mentor, or coach. The key is to have someone who will not just cheer you on, but will also hold you accountable in a constructive way. 2. Set clear, achievable goals. Break down your larger goals into smaller, measurable tasks. This makes it easier for both you and your accountability partner to track progress and keep you motivated. 3. Check in regularly. Consistent check-ins are vital. Whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, having a set time to discuss progress keeps you focused. During these check-ins, be honest about your successes and struggles. Accountability is most effective when it's based on transparency. 4. Celebrate wins together. Acknowledge both small and large accomplishments. Celebrating progress fuels motivation and makes the journey more enjoyable. Conclusion: accountability as a key to success. The journey to achieving your goals doesn't have to be a lonely one. When you have someone by your side to hold you accountable, you increase your chances of success exponentially. Accountability not only keeps you on track, but it also provides the motivation, support, and encouragement needed to push through challenges. If you've ever found yourself procrastinating or losing momentum on a big goal, consider finding an accountability partner. It might just be the missing link you need to make your dreams a reality. Whether you're working on a personal project, career goal, or something else, having someone to share the journey with can make all the difference. The ultimate mindset shift: from excuses to ownership. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop making excuses. Your life is your responsibility. Don't have time? Make time. Don't feel motivated? Take action anyway. Don't know how to start? Start small, but start now. When you take ownership of your life, everything changes. No more waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Final thoughts. Who will you become? Imagine waking up a year from now, having fully embraced self-discipline. What would your life look like? What goals would you have accomplished? The future version of you is waiting. The question is, will you take the first step? You have two choices. Continue as you are, letting procrastination and fear hold you back. Take control, force yourself to take action, and build the life you truly desire. It's not just about reaching a goal, it's about who you become in the process. So go forward, take action, and make your dreams a reality. The world is waiting for your greatness. Now, what's your next move?